want to do sort of a teaching as opposed to a preaching, so that we may be able to learn a little bit what is important and what is the will of God in our life. I want to begin by saying that we need to understand what romance is. Romance is this excitement that you get when you feel good. How many people have ever been in that situation? You're just excited because you feel good about something. Amen. I hope today you don't have a strategic neighbor in Jesus' name. Now I want to say that all of us, naturally, we are romantic. Wow. We have the ability to be romantic. We are created with romance. And it's not our idea, it's God's own idea. So when you feel excited at one point or another, it is not something that you have created yourself. It's not something you got from your parents. It's something that you have been created with, and it's from God. So I want to first begin by saying that romance is a gift from God. It is inside me, it is inside you. It does not die. It can be suppressed, but it does not die. And many a times we imagine that romance is from the devil. When we talk about intimacy, we think it is the devil's idea. When we see people in love, we think they are satanic. When we get attracted to somebody, we begin to repent and to pray about it. Amen? Amen. So I want us to understand that romance is a gift from God. Only that you need to know what gift and is it really from God. Sometimes you may think it's from God and it is not. Sometimes you may be expecting a gift from somebody and you think that person has given you a gift. So only if you can be able to realize that this is a gift from God. And that is why, as we talk about romance, I want to say that there's time for everything. There's time for romance. When I talk about time for romance, it's not about age. Some people think it's about age. That is why sometimes there's a craze. There's a craze at a particular age because of peer influence. People imagine that this is a time for romance. This is a time for love. Sometimes it's because of our foundations, or where we come from, the home background, and the values in the society, and the African understanding. We imagine it is time for romance. I can assure you that we all have different time for romance. It is not specified. Like at this particular time, everybody should be in a romantic relationship. Amen. There are times that you really have to seek God's face to understand whether it is your time. I like what Colossians says, chapter 3 and verse 1, that put your mind, set your minds in the things that are above. It means focusing. Try to focus in the things that are above, not on the things that are on earth. Because when you focus on things that are on earth, you go by the earthly direction. This is the time I'm supposed to be having this. This is the time people are doing this. You look at your surrounding and you go by them. You go by the standards of what is dictated in the earthly environment, the earthly dictionary, the earthly expectations. But if you can set your mind, you know, like if you set your television to NTV, you take a remote and then you switch it to NTV, then it means you are watching NTV. And why do you set it? Because you're interested in it. You're interested in watching something there. But the way you can have your mind free without setting. And therefore, if you don't have your mind set, you will tap any network that is around. And that is why some of us came to first year thinking that we will get married after 10 years. But then we are finding ourselves married even at second year. Because we did not set our mind. any network. Any network could be any influence that is around us. If you have been near a border, say if you go to Kihanta, you'll discover that your phone will begin to get the network from Tanzania. If you go to Busia, especially at the border, you will find that your phone is beginning to get the network from Uganda. This is because it is a no man's land. So sometimes our mind is like that. When it's a no man's land, we tap network from anywhere. So if your roommate is getting into a relationship, you begin to think like you are late. And especially if you feel like you are a little bit older than them, you will start thinking like, there's something wrong with me. That is a mind that has not been set. So it's an idle mind. So when the mind is idle like that, you tap network from anywhere. And the devil loves such a mind that is not engaged, because it can give you the network and you begin to think like that. Actually, you can even begin to be suspicious, to be thinking like, you know, I used to think I'm beautiful enough. Maybe I'm not so beautiful. There must be something I need to pray about. Because your mind is not set. Now let me talk about a mind that has been set. Now, but on earthly things. On earthly things, you go by the earthly standard. This is what is expected of me. This is what my mom expects of me. This is what the church expects of me. This is what my father expects of me. This is what I feel I should do because it's right, backed by the earthly standards. But if you can set your mind in the things above, knowing that even romance comes from God, and that there is a plan that God has for you, and that no amount, not even the devil has power to change that plan in your life. And if you can just focus, you keep your mind tuned there, na mtu asinterfere, asikuja akachange your network, ukabaki tu you're setting your mind in the things above, knowing that in everything God has control in your life, you will discover it will be easier for you, because you will have so much peace. Your mind focused in the things that are above. Now, I've said that there's time for romance. So you cannot have, or you cannot accept, or you cannot get yourself into a romantic relationship without a purpose. If you came to first year and you have goals, you have an academic goal, definitely your academic goal is if you come for diploma, you finish your 3 years or 2 years and go. Certificate, the same thing. Degree, 4 years or 5 years. Or if you are here for masters and all that, you have a purpose, you have a time frame, you have an academic plan. Sure enough, you must have a plan, a social plan that you can commit in the hands of God. And so if you had a plan, that God willing, for me, God willing, I am a first year and God willing, I want to really get myself into a relationship. When I'm ready for it and I'm giving myself 6 years, I'm giving myself 4 years, I'm giving myself 3 years. That is a tentative plan, it's a goal, and you're committing yourself to it. Now, this particular goal, you will live by it, so that if tomorrow somebody comes and is getting you into a relationship, then you know very well that you're not getting married. Why? There are other issues that are surrounding, other issues that are dictating your life. Maybe you still want to serve God. Maybe you are thinking you still want to study, you're not ready to settle down. And you're having an affair. It is not time for romance. And therefore you cannot engage yourself into casual relationships. Relationships without God. As a born again, as a child of God, hakuna vitu the trial and error. There's nothing like we are testing out to see where God takes us. God is so orderly, He has a direction. You surely know where God is taking you. And you know what? God did not just create romance. When it comes to intimacy, He creates a place for it to find the highest gratification. That is called marriage. So anytime you feel you are excited about somebody, and you get closer to this particular person, and you think you want to begin a journey called a relationship that is intimate, or that is intimately driven, then you must think about marriage. Anytime you think about somebody that you feel good about, you must know that God is putting this for you, and it is ultimate gratification is marriage. God does not put on fire and let it burn like that. He does not waste fire. Ati umeakisha jiko na umeacha umeangalia. Wacha tuone vile moto unaenda, tuone tutaekelea nini. So you must know that if you have those feelings and you do not have marriage in the picture, you have no business. I am not from the school of thought where people engage for 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, sister engagement. We are courting for the next, even 4 years. Even 1 year, you need the Holy Spirit 24/7 in your heart. I am not from that school of thought. It's not anywhere in the Bible. Maybe you remember the story of Pinalea and Rachel. But I know that it is not something that you want to go through. So the moment you accept to be intimately related to someone, you must be thinking about marriage. And then maybe you ask me, how do you get yourself into this relationship? This is something that you have to be clear about. Because God understands that at one point, if this is what you have in your life, you are not choosing celibacy. Celibacy is trying to stay clear of marriage for the purposes of serving God. So if you're not going to be a celibate, then you are a Christian who is able to serve God and still able to relate and still able to have a family and still able to procreate and still able to have that companionship. So in that particular perspective, you must be able to know that God understands you well. He is interested in your life. You must begin to find out, how do I establish this relationship? Some of you think that because you're in Kiss University, you must get out of Kiss University with a spouse. Who told you? God could have brought you here only to grow you and see you, to make sure that you are the talent you had, that the one that He put in you, even if you are in praise and worship, to make it grow to a particular level, to His glory and honor. God did not bring you here that you may be able to get a spouse. If it happens, I am yet to follow one case. I have been a patron for some time. I am yet to follow one case that God has brought them here for the purposes of marriage. I am yet to do a research and follow one case and see a successful one that God brought them here for the purposes of joining them. If it happens, too good. But but do not have that kind of mind. So you are looking for this sister. If it fails, you're looking for another sister. If it fails, you're looking for another sister. I need you to understand that you are here because God understands you are here. And if you get your spouse from here, we look at relationship and see the qualities that you need to think about. Then we bless the name of God. So I've said that there's time for everything. Maybe this time is for you to grow and mature spiritually. Because God is love. And those who don't know God do not have love. And if you are in love, then you must be able to know God, because God Himself is love. So it means that there could be time, or this time that you are here, Mungu bado anakukuza, umjue zaidi, ujue kupenda. I love to say this every other time. You give what you have. So if you don't have love, you cannot love anybody. You cannot give it to anybody. So maybe you are here for such a time as this to love God, to seriously, truly love God. And then now you can know what love is. And then you are able to love somebody else. So I've said that there's a time for everything, and that must be taken as clear as that. Now, our value, number 3, is not in our relationship status. So that if you are not engaged and you're in 4th year, you start feeling like I am less of a person. I am not prayerful. I am not serious with God. Our value is not in our relationship status. When God looks down, He sees His child more precious than a jewel. He does not see single again, single static again, seriously ready to get married. He does not see that. He sees His child. He looks down and He sees His child. And actually the Bible tells us that when God looks down, the mark of the Holy Spirit is what God uses to recognize us. We are recognized by the mark of His Holy Spirit. And so He knows His children. He's not looking at us in terms of who is married and who is not, who is engaged and who is not, who is working hard in a relationship and who is not. He looks us down, and that's why even the people in relationship, I'll be talking about very shortly, must ensure that they are doing everything the glory of God, living in purity, because He does not look at us in the name of, let me spare them because they are not able to sustain sin or to stay away from sin until they are married, then I look down at them. He keeps on looking at us, and He can identify us by the mark of His Holy Spirit. And so our worthiness is not in our relationship status. I have told you before, if you listen to me, maybe for years and years I've had this, that even us when we were in the CU, in those many years when I was an undergraduate, some of us were even thinking that we should be finishing with engaged brothers. Brothers were praying for sisters. Sisters were praying for brothers. I can assure you that at least you have mobile phones. You've been living for the 40 years. Sisi, we didn't have mobile phones. So the only way of communication was a letter. Sasa usipoponyoka na mtu utampata wapi? Because if a PO box changes, kama mtu alikuwa Kericho, aende na where will you find this person? So you can imagine how serious prayers were. Those were the days you go to for prayer morning devotion na unapata mkofotia kama wote. Watu wanaomba. Watu wanaomba. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. We only did not know that our wives and husbands were not there. And I remember one lady who actually went berserk. She went mad for being let down by a brother. She went mad. She could not take it. She could not believe it. And she got mad just because she was let down by a brother. I don't know, I've never followed her story. But we did a lot of comforting her and praying with her and consoling, and she could not take it. But later on, when we were looking back at our lives and we were laughing and saying, really, how stupid were we? You mean some of these people were supposed to be our husbands, or some of people were supposed to be our wives? God could be sparing you from things you cannot go through. Na wewe umekasania. Amen? God could be keeping you safe from things. Akikuangalia na usema huyu mtoto wangu hawezi. Hii itamzuia kwenda mbinguni. The moment as a child of God, unaona kwamba things, kuna obstacles. By the way, only in relationship, wakati kuna obstacles. In life, wakati kuna obstacle, that obstacle could be a stepping stone for success in life. In a relationship, hakuna kama hiyo. Wakati kuna obstacles, people are telling you that sister, that sister, that sister. You also feeling in your heart that I say, hey, hata simuelewi. I tell you the truth, run away like yesterday. Hakuna kitu kama, because it's an obstacle, we will pray and break those obstacles. It is a warning, but a very silent warning, and you need to understand what the will of God in your life is for you to be able to run away. I have a friend who is a priest, a pastor, at the moment. When they were getting married, they got married immediately after 4th year to a wife. So he had not decided to go into ministry. He trained as a teacher. So even the lady trained as a teacher. So akamaliza. After they wedded and the guy got employment, akaingia theology college. Na akatoka as a minister. So he's a chaplain, but there is a chaplain right now in a very big school at the moment, but also a teacher. So when the wife discovered this guy has got into ministry, aka switch off. There are people here who don't want to be wives to ministers. Wewe umejikaza na yeye, Mungu anakupatia ka warning, wewe umejikaza tu ni huyu. At one time, he was my pastor somewhere, and believe me, that lady who closed the door for us for fellowship. Fellowship kitu gani? Kelele hapo unapiga, kila mtu akiombe kwao. And she's born again. She claims to be spirit-filled and going to heaven perpendicular. So you watch out. So I've told you that there's a time for everything. I've told you your work it's not in relationship status. You are still working before God. And there must be an Eve somewhere for you. There is an Adam somewhere for you. You just need to be patient, doing what is good before God. Now I want to say this. That sometimes it's a little bit, it becomes a little bit tricky for us. Sometimes because of our orientation, the church principles which you are growing in. I remember where I grew as a child, from my church principle. We were taught not to seduce or to be seduced as a child of God. From my background, my church. Let me tell you from my church principle. And I remember one time, I had come home for holiday when I was a second year, and then I went for church with kind of youths to come back behind, we were programming for a youth conference, And then there is this brother who had come all the way. You know, they were connecting people. So I was told, Sister RHODA, kidogo, nikaambiwa kwenda kwa nyumba ya pastor. Nikaenda huko. I found a young brother from Moi University, training to be a doctor. And he asked me, praise Jesus, we were doing those ushuhuda ya kitambo. Niliokoka mwaka wa 20, nilikuwa wapi? Wakati Yesu alinipata, nilikuwa mtenda dhambi sana. Na nikapata safari ya mbinguni and all that. And then after we do the testimonies in our church, takes like about 10 minutes. You just testify. So after that he told me, asked me, ulikuwa umeambiwa? Nikamuuliza, nilikuwa nimeambiwa nini? Ulikuwa umeambiwa? So I asked nini? Si nilikuwa nimeambiwa kwamba kuna dada hapa ambaye anatembea katika mwangaza ambaye ni wewe, na kwa hivyo nilikuwa nimekuja kwa sababu ulikuwa umeambiwa. Sincerely, there's nothing romantic there. Amen? I didn't understand what he was talking about. Only after I left, I was told that that is a brother who had come to betray me. And I didn't know. I didn't know that that was the way he was supposed to seduce me, to be interested in him. A boy I had never seen in my life. Sometimes we are victims of the same circumstance. And so for you, because you have come out of that kind of foundation, you still feel like, even when somebody is telling you, sister, I like you. Sister, I can be your friend. If you give me a chance. If a sister tells you, brother, I like you, you're like, hey, yeah. This is now not even biblical. Amen. God created romance. He placed it in us. He knows that we have power to be romantic. Amen. If we walk in His light, and if we are sincere in our hearts, and if we know that this is the, in fact, you will be a sinner to suppress some liking. You'd rather talk about it, ukataliwe, ukubaliwe, ujue the way forward. Amen? Munanipata? Talk about it, ukubaliwe, useme it is possible. Ukataliwe, useme kwamba it is not possible. Let's pray about it, may God give you peace about it. That to die in lust, you are admiring somebody from first year. Okay, how many is it? 8 semesters, watu wanaenda kuongea mambo mengine, people are praying for justice, wewe unakemea shetani yule wa first year. You unakemea feelings za first year. If only you could have told this person, akwambia tu, by the way, Mimi, I don't think I am interested in you, or I have somebody in my life. And then you have peace about it. And now you can tell God, what do you mean peace about it? Give me peace about this situation. Because I believe that if this person is engaged, if this person has somebody else, then she is not meant to be mine. He is not meant to be mine. Then you walk in the light, and you be in the openness. Instead, we can pretend, and die in lust and even sin before God. Now, I want to also say this about romance. That when time comes for you to be in love, take some time and seek the will of God. Beginning from a friendship situation, it is very, very powerful and interesting to have a friend as a spouse. If you can be friends with somebody, you can raise it to a romantic relationship. These things you surprise me with, as you live here, as you met a brother in church, you're getting married. Somebody you have not known, somebody you have no idea about. You will give the devil an opportunity to break that marriage before you know it. Try to make friendship. Even when you think you have only 2 seconds to live before you die, and so you need to get married, try to be friends. Develop some friendship. Because then you need to discover, can this person grow me spiritually? Can this person grow me even in terms of my social value? Do they respect me? Do they know me? Do they understand me? And it is important now to tell you, my boys and girls, that as you do the friendship, be open-minded. Don't have a friend for the sake of growing it into a love affair and a marriage. Have a friend with an open mind that I want to learn you. I want to be your friend. Believe me, even if you don't grow it into a marriage, that remains a friend. Amen? Amen? But when you have a friend, and this friend, you are purposing that this friend must be a husband. If they don't become a husband, they become an enemy. Because this person was supposed to be a friend and a husband, but he's not becoming a friend and a husband. From the friendship, you become an open-minded person that this can work or it may not work. If it works, we'll see what happens. If it doesn't work, we still give God glory. And we can still be able to be friends even after we get married. Amen? Amen. So let's be open-minded, not fixed-minded. That anybody who warms up to you, a potential wife or a potential husband. Make more friendship around than you are thinking about a spouse. The spouse that God has purpose for you will still find you doing the work of God. But no surprises. Children of God, no surprises. That, I was in the vehicle traveling, then I met the husband that was married. I have once told you of my cousin who was born again. Met a brother like that, surprise. Brother born again, the girl is born again. Waka away. By their wedding, the guy was like, nipeleke wenu. The boy was postponing. Walikuwa ni primary. April postponed. August postponed. The guy said, no, we must go home. At least tukakaa town kama watu ambao wedding nyumbani, let's go home. Watu wakaenda nyumbani December. By that time they had a baby already. Wakaenda nyumbani December. So when nyumbani, the mother-in-law who also in a church, in fact a church leader, jioni akamwambia kuna wageni wanakuja kuwaombea. Tayarisha chakula, weke kwenye meza, you will serve them. Akaleta mahindi. Na hiyo mahindi haikukatwa. Akauliza mahindi upiko bila kukata tayari. This one you just boil and put on a tray. Akaweka kwa tray. Akashangaa. Akaambia unaweka vitunguu juu yake but just like that. Akashangaa. Akakaa. Akangoja wageni. The husband had disappeared. Akangoja wageni, akadoze on the chair. She only woke up when she felt something crawling on her, something soft. A big snake had come in. She was supposed to orient this snake by feeding this snake. And these are people religious. Surprising. She only woke up in hospital. And that marriage ended like that. She was in a coma for a very long time. My very first cousin. Baba yake na baba yangu ni brothers. Not a story. So I can assure you, these things are surprising. What kind of surprises? Get to know somebody. Jua kwao. Hata hakuna ubaya kumtembelea mtu kwa sababu wewe rafiki yake, alimradi utalala huko. Just to know them. Just to understand their church. Some of us we come from churches ukikuja unashangaa. You need to understand that. Amen. Amen. Yeah. Can I one up? So that we can be able to grow this into something that we accept and we agree that we are walking. For two cannot agree cannot work together unless they do agree. So begin to agree. Now quickly about relationship, I want to say this. Some of us are already in relationship. Some of us will get into relationship. Now, it's very clear that we need to really keep sexual purity, and that is all about the chastity week. Titus chapter 1 and verse 15. To the pure, all things are pure. But to those who are corrupted and do not believe, nothing is pure. In fact, both their minds and conscience are corrupted. Now, you are in a relationship. A relationship destined to get married. You are courting. You have found the one that you think your heart loves, or your heart likes. You are destined to get married. The Bible says, to the pure, all things are pure. So everything you do, including your relationship with this particular person, must be pure. Must be pure. You cannot conform and live like other people because you are pure. And so everything, including what you do, are pure. How can you keep yourself pure? You must first of all agree that we are going to be pure. Don't imagine that because you have a prayerful brother this thing is going to work in a pure manner. Talk about it. Amen? Amen. I love so much the card. You cannot be pure when you are always in her room. And she is always in your room, the two of you. And you are staying somewhere where we can't even access. We don't even know where you stay. You only appear for fellowship and disappear. You have to be accountable. Amen? Amen. You fall in love like this, you look for a simple room other way from this university. You have to be accountable. You have to be somebody with a roommate. You have to have a roommate who can help you. Because you have agreed with your boyfriend or girlfriend that for us we have to be pure. Amen? Amen. Now, you cannot be pure when 24/7, apart from class, you are together. So they behave like a best man. You see a best man in a wedding. Mwanamke akienda kusign certificate akona yeye. Akirudi hivi akona yeye. Anampanguza kidogo. You cannot behave like that. You be giving the devil a footstool. Remember, our intimacy, our romantic nature is connected to our bodies. And the devil is so aware. He knows. And so he will take opportunity if given one. Amen? Amen. And so you have to ask yourself, how strong am I? How weak am I? Or do you want to tempt the devil? Mnanielewa vizuri? And so you have to be accountable. Agree among yourselves. The two of you have to sit down and agree. How long do we want? How do you want to behave? How much do you want to be? How do you want to behave? How do you want to operate? You cannot want to be pure. Now breakfast, lunch, and supper, all of a sudden. You have disowned now your boyfriends, brethren, and the girlfriends. So lunch pamoja, breakfast pamoja, supper pamoja, chai ya saa 4 pamoja. Mmetoka pamoja, bado mnapita chai ya saa 4. Alafu bado mnatembea mkizindikishana kufika huku, alafu mnasindikisha mkifika hapo. That is what the world does. True or false? True. That is what the world does. So when you conform to the world, the devil says, yes, I love it. You will even feel an encouragement. So you are just protecting between one place and another. You have to be careful. Remind yourself, to the pure, everything is pure. Including the messages you send to one another. Amen. To the pure, all things are pure. Including the messages you send to one another. Including how long you send those messages. Saa 7 usiku bado unauliza umelala? Na wewe umelala? Bado sijalala. Aya, good night. Aya, good night. Good night. You are even competing. You are competing who will say the last good night. To the pure, all things are pure. You need to know that to those who are not pure, their conscience is corrupted. Their conscience is corrupted. And so they want to be together. The feeling to be together is corrupted. It is not godly. Amen? Amen. 1 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 20, it tells us you are bought with a price. I've got all those verses and those cards. You are bought by a price. Therefore, glorify God in your body and in your spirit. These things belong to who? God. The body you have, the spirit you have, does not belong to you. Those things have been brought. It's like, mtu anakupatia kitu ni bebe, nishikie. So unashika ukisema ni si yangu, ni ya mtu mwingine. Those things belong to God. So those are not yours. You cannot misuse them the way you think. The mark of the Holy Spirit on you, God looks down and sees his child. Anaona moyo wako, anaona mwili wako. You need to glorify God in your body, even in the relationship. So I was telling you to plan the relationship. Talk about it. Talk about your weaknesses, that you may find prayer points. Amen? Amen. Now, you could be having somebody whom you are relating with, but has a problem of forgetting. Hello? Hello? Forgetting is not a sin, but it leads to sin. Amen? Amen. Forgetting itself, si sin, usahau. Unasalimia mtu ni asubuhi, good morning. Anasahau kujibu. Anajibu jioni. Good morning and good evening. It will definitely dating and you discover this girl I am dating has poor listening skills. Listening skills, poor, is not a sin, but it can lead to sin. Because unamwambia kitu anasikia opposite. Unamwambia, you know, we are going for prayers. Anasikia we, you and who? You and Sister Anne are going for prayers. Amen? So talk about your weaknesses so that you can be able to have prayer points. You could be dating somebody with a very short temper. Kitu kidogo tu amekasirika. Amekasirika mpaka tu nimewacha na nimeenda. Now let me tell you something. That temper may not necessarily be sin, but it can lead to sin. So could you talk about your weaknesses and strengths, that you may have a prayer point? And you will discover when you have a lot of items to do, like prayer points, talking about yourself, it will make your relationship more fruitful and more easier. When you have nothing to say, nothing to do, the devil knows. The devil knows you have nothing to say, you have nothing to do. So the devil knows. And you begin to connect with your eyes. Then you begin to connect with your nerves. Then you begin to connect with your blood. Amen? So you must be able to have things to talk about. You must be able to have prayer points. You must be able to have a goal. You must be able to have supportive friends. You can tell somebody, if I'm a girl and I'm engaged, tell somebody who is a friend of yours, please watch me. Watch me for me. That if I go so fast, you can tell me, RHODA, hey, slow down, slow down. The number of times you are visiting Timothy's house is not good. Amen? If I am the man, let me have somebody who can watch me for me. Amen. This sister does not leave this house anymore now that you are engaged. She's here for breakfast. Yes, she cooks well, but breakfast, lunch, and supper. I think we need to cook for ourselves. Amen? Have somebody to watch you for you. Now, quickly, let's also know that we need to guard our hearts, because that is where all the issues of life come from, isn't it? Yes. That's what we know. So, this is the doorway to our mind, and it's through our eyes. Let's guard our heart. Let's guard our heart. So we cannot afford to just watch anything. We cannot afford just to listen to anything. Just because we're in love, we don't change our ringtones to love tunes. We cannot afford to just send any text messages just because we are in love. Let's guard our heart. Let's make sure that our hearts are guarded. What we hear, what we see, what we feel, what we touch, will go to our heart. And from it, a factory generating things, the issues of life. Another thing I need to tell you is that we also need to understand that when we can have a lot of purity coming in, we will give purity. Amen? So let's get closer. Let's get closer to the Word of God, to holiness, that we may be full of purity things, then we can be able to produce fruits. Now, I was looking at the Bible and I was really interested. There's so much romance in the Bible. Look at the power of love between Adam and Eve. Don't joke with the power of love. Adam and Eve was so much in love. And because of that love, they never took care of that love. It led to the fall of man. Yes. You could imagine that Adam loved the wife so much, so that when the wife came and said, please taste, Adam forgot that God had said that eat from any other tree, but not this one. Hello? Take care of love. It can bring you a downfall. Think about Abraham and Sarah. Sarah loved Abraham so much. She wanted to please him. No wonder she even told Abraham, even if it is what, please take my slave girl and go into her, that you may have a child. Why was Sarah doing this? For love. Take care of love. Because love can make you do things that are not godly because you want to please another person. Is there anything you have done that is not godly to please another person? Maybe a question you need to answer. Those stories are not there just for fun. You need to think about it. The power of love. So much that you stay aside and say, please take another person in my place because I want to make you happy. What are the things you have done to make somebody happy? If there are any things you have done to make somebody happy, you could be falling down sooner or later. Because that is not good. Think about Michal and David. These are people who are so much in love that Michal even disregards her father for the sake of David. That is the power of love. That's how powerful love can be. So love can protect, but is it protecting in your scenario? What is it that you're doing about love? So that you don't surprise your father and mother and say, me, I'm getting married, whether you like it or not. This is a brother in Christ. I found him in campus. And so your father says, my dear daughter, I thought we agreed that we will finish, I take you back for masters. Masters can stay. For now, I get a brother. Hello? Maybe for Michal's sake, it was for the sake of the life of David. What about yours? Love is that powerful. So before you act, before you get into love, think about the power of love. I want to give you the examples. Think about the case of Samson and Delilah. These are a couple who are so much in love. And love makes Samson forget that he is not supposed to tell anybody about the secret in his hair. But because he is in love, he tells Delilah that my power is in my hair. That is how much powerful love is. And so you need to watch out when it comes to love. When it comes to you relating. Maybe you need to think about it. Are there things that you have done for love? And where are they heading? Because when we're looking at the characteristic of love in Corinthians, we will see what love is and what love is not. So you can go and check out your relationship and ask yourself, am I really in love or not? You could be thinking you are in a relationship, but you are not. You are in a situationship. Before we check out love in Corinthians, Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 27, as you are dating, the Bible says do not give the devil a footstool. Do not give the devil a footstool. How do you give the devil a footstool? Now, if love is going to get you farther, or it is going to be a distractor, then it's not the will of God. You're giving the devil a footstool. How can love be a distractor? Because you've fallen in love, you don't go for prayers anymore. Because you've fallen in love, fellowship is not a priority. Because you've fallen in love, evangelistic team meetings is not a priority. Because you've fallen in love, training or any kind of meeting is not a priority. Then you need to ask yourself, are you giving the devil a footstool? When you give the devil a footstool, the devil enjoys. He takes every advantage of every opportunity. He can smell it at a distance, and he will grab it at any time. So do not give the devil a footstool just because you are in a relationship. Because you are in one, you do not have to destroy other relationships. Imagine if you, for the sake of love, you lived in bitterness. If for the sake of love, you stayed without sleep. If for the sake of love, you missed classes. If for the sake of love, you missed some other activities in some ministries, then that means you have given the devil a footstool. You are not glorifying God. Any person coming to your life should elevate you spiritually first, and then academically, should elevate you socially, economically. There is nothing that somebody is coming to become a sponsor in your life. And because of her, I can eat. Because of him, I can now pay rent. Because don't become a grandfather or a father to somebody. You need to have a relationship that is equal, companionship. It has nothing to do with material attachment. Amen?
Amen. Hallelujah.
If you are buying clothes for a girl, at this level, brother, repent. If you are planning tomorrow on Valentine to buy a suit for a boy, repent, sister. Hello?
Hello.
Are we together?
Yes.
If the suit is already bought, mpatie tu, lakini buku. Now, I want us to look at Corinthians, but before that, there are other verses that you need to look at. The Bible says, submit yourself to God, resist the devil and he flee away from. from you. Let us look at Corinthians. For those who are in relationship, I want us to look at Corinthians chapter 13 and see what love is. Then we'll be asking ourselves questions and asking ourselves, are we really in a relationship or a situationship? Now, Corinthians 13, we love this. We project and we know 13 and verse 4 to 7. One, love is patient and now you need to ask yourself, you are in a relationship. Can you experience some patience in that relationship? Can you see some kindness? Somebody who is willing to walk with you the journey. Somebody who is patient with you. Somebody who is kind. And the kindness that they are showing you, you can see it's because they want to draw you closer to God. That is the kindness. Somebody who reminds you to go for prayers. Somebody who sends you Bible verses. Somebody who reminds you of your value before God. Somebody who reminds you of your worthiness before God. That is, they show you kindness. Somebody who is patient with you. Because love is patient. Love is kind. Now, in the process of relating, you will discover that sometimes as human beings you may not agree about some things. How are you dealing with that? How are you dealing with crisis in your relationship? How are you dealing with circumstances that you don't agree upon? Love is patient. If you disagree and disagree and disagree, you think twice again. Because then it means that you are not able to love. You're not in love. If all the times you are disagreeing, you know there are people who are normally enjoying situations. Wanna break this month, wanna be next. Wanna break the other, wanna be next. You are not in love because love is patient. Amen?
Amen.
Please help somebody. Mwambie ukweli kwamba you're not in love. You cannot be breaking and let me tell you, nothing will change even after marriage. Mutakuwa una divorce, mnarudi, mnaombewa. Mna divorce, mnaombewa. So you are not in love because love is patient. Love is patient. It is not impatient. Kitu kidogo umejama. Kitu kidogo umenyamaza, you're not talking. Kitu kidogo, where have you been? Kitu, why did you do? Love is so patient. And so, are you in love? If you have patience in your relationship, then you're in love. If you don't have patience, you are not in love. You are in a situation, please come out of the situation that God may show you. You are Isaac or you are Rebecca. Amen?
Amen.
Now, second thing is that we're told about love, is that it does not envy. Love does not envy. In my Bible it says it is not jealous or conceited or proud. Now, if you are in love, love does not envy. Like, there are people who fall in love. I don't know if they're in this university, maybe they are not. And they begin to behave like your mother or father. Uko wapi? Kwani hiyo fellowship inachukua muda gani? Si ilikuwa tuchukue 1 minute. Mbona imechukua muda yote hiyo? Sasa ulikuwa wapi? Even if you delay from coming home, kwani umekaa nyumbani aje? Si ukuje shule. Ulikuwa ufungue jana. Mbona umefungua leo? You know, that is envy. You know, this is no longer your mate. This is your mother or father. It's a mother or father who asks such questions. Ulikuwa wapi? Unaenda wapi? Umetoka wapi? Mbona umekaa? Ulikuwa na kina nani? Mbona anakuchekea? Mbona ukipita unamchekea? You know, those are things that you are not in love. Amen? You are in a prison. Please get out of prison. Young as you are supposed to grow. You are supposed to socialize. You are supposed to relate. It is only here that we have the Kenya face represented here. It's only here we have all the evangelistic team. You can actually even decide to be a visitor in any team anywhere. So if you already have a maid watching you, if you have a houseboy who is watching over you, please, my sister, my brother, disengage. Yes. Because right now, you need to grow. A time will come, the 4th year, you're going to go back to your village. You will only meet your tribesmen. So right now, you need to be able to relate. As a brother, you can take breakfast anywhere and eat lunch anywhere and still walk in money. So if you have a maid or relationship. That is a prison, a situationship that you need to come out of it. Amen? Love does not envy. It is not jealous. Why are you always smiling like this at somebody? Love is not jealous. Amen? Amen. That is not me saying, it's the Bible. Love is not jealous. It is like when you know this is mine, this is mine. Then you're in love. You can release this person because he is mine. Yes. You can release her because she is mine. You don't need a CCTV camera to watch amepitia mgani. This is the Bible saying that love is not jealous. Amen. Amen. When you find yourself, unauliza maswali ya kijinga, ulikuwa wapi? Ulichukua muda gani? Mwambie my brother. I am not in love anymore because I am not going to be in a prison. Yes. Amen. Amen. I want to do everything in purity. I am not going to lose other brethren because I'm in this love. What happens when this love is not there? You will not come back and find this guy waiting for you. They will be scared. They don't know how to relate with you. They don't know how to begin from. They don't know how to continue praying for you from a distance or to listen to you. Because you left them long time ago. Amen? Amen. Now the next is that love is not ill-mannered or selfish or irritable. Love does not keep a record of ati tulipokuwa sekondia tukaenda mission. Unakumbuka vile ulinifanyia? The other day when we went for practice, nilitaka microphone ukaninyima. I called you yesterday, you didn't answer. And now you see, you want me to keep it. Love does not keep a record of wrongs. If you find anything is wrong, don't keep a record. Then you know you're in love. But anyway, don't struggle with this. Just take this and tick or X. Then tell yourself, I'm not in love. I'm in a situation. And if you come out of the situation. Amen? Amen. Can you imagine how easy it was for Adam and Eve? They were not in a situation. They were in a relationship. So don't get into a situation. Because God, by the way, anytime you see a marriage that is Christian, especially when it is now a true marriage in a wedding, the way that couple feel is what God wants you to feel. Imagine that is how God loves you. But kidogo too, God loves you more than that. But the love you experience, the love you will experience after wedding, the love you will experience is what you imagine yourself. If God loves me more than this, hey, then God loves me. Oh. Because you don't even sleep. The day you're going to work tomorrow, akulali. Unaweza pewa hata 5-star hotel with white bed sheets and soft and you can't sleep. You're like, tomorrow come, oh, tomorrow come. So if that is how you feel, then how much more does God love you? And why does God put that? Because actually God wants, imagine all of you, if you're all going to get married, and if this marriage can work, then the world can see how God loves us. Amen? Amen. Continue. Kidogo. Love is not happy with evil. If you have an issue, you keep on repenting because of that relationship. Alishika hivi, alishika hivi, nikasikia hivi, shetani ashindwe. You are not in love. Amen? Amen. Love is not happy with evil, but it is happy with the truth. When somebody tells you the truth of your uongo, unandanganya, that you're not in love. When you're in love, you will listen and you will understand that whatever they're telling me is the truth. But when you're not in love, you keep on wanting the truth that is not there. Tell me the truth about it. Let me inquire for myself. I will do a research and find out. That is not love. Quickly. Love never gives up. And it's faith, hope, and patience. And love never fails. Now, it is not you not failing. Now, let's begin about that. Some of us are struggling to be in love. So you are working hard to keep the relationship. The Bible says it is love. The love never fails. Not you do not fail when you are in love. So do not work hard to keep yourself in love. When it is true love, and it is God-given, it will be with a lot of easiness, no efforts, just there. You find you are more willing to forgive. You find you are more willing to be patient. You find you are more willing to enjoy what is good. You find you are more willing to let go. You find you are peaceful when you're in love. But when you're in a situation, you'll be working hard. It must work. Why must it work? It must work because what will people say? What will people say? My question is, as your mother, what will people say? What will they say? What is the worst that can happen? Let me tell you, when you struggle like that, the devil knows. And so as children of God, we are the light. We are the salt in Kiss University. People who are watching us, if you are in a relationship, the world knows. Especially if you have classmates who are not born again, wanajua. If you have roommates who are not born again, wanajua. Wanataka kupima sasa vizuri, wanakuangalia vizuri. They want to see, how is it like when you are born again? Then they imagine that this is very, very painful. To be born again and be loved, it's very painful. Why is it painful? Because you are making it painful. You are making it a struggle. Relax. God is in control. Amen? Amen? As I finish, I want to say this. You need to think about the consequences in your relationship. You need to find out, have you crossed the line of sexual purity? What could it be? Actually, my conviction as I came, I want to beseech you to ask yourself, as you are relating, if you are relating at all, do you have a plan? Have you talked about it? I see sometimes we fall in sin and we're in church. We get pregnant, we're in church. We fornicate, we're in church. What comes to my mind? I want to honor plan. They have not even talked about it. You imagine that so-and-so is born again. And they're imagining you're born again. Until you find yourself in sin. And then you discover that somebody should have helped the other. But are you having a plan? Have you thought about it? Do you have a support system? Kuna watu mmewaweka kando yenu, karibu na nyinyi, to work with you in this relationship. Now, that you are in love, is it a secret? Or is something that we need to know that we can pray for you? I only see watu meponyoka umeoana. Mimi sina habari na mimi ni patron. I am a counselor by profession. I just see watu meponyoka. Free counseling hawataki. They want to go and go nje na waende counseling. Do you have a support system? A support system that can pray for you among the brethren, among the associates, among the patronage? Why do you think this is yours? Why can't you let us walk with you? Now, when you have a situation and you think you want to break out, how do you handle it? How do you handle a breaking situation? You want to get out of it. Does this person become an enemy after that? How do you handle this? Remember, it's all about God. It is not about you. Anytime you break your relationship, you find, hey, I'm getting out. Or somebody says, hey, I'm breaking out. Say, God, have your way. Give me peace about it. Let me learn from you. Let me learn how to love from you. But I know that I'm still operating in your will. Because then it means that this will not give you glory. Amen? Amen. These are questions that you need to ask yourself. You need to be able to ask yourself, as a person who is relating, do you know where you're going to with that relationship? Or you're testing the waters? For how long are you in courtship, for example? Do you know about that? What are the possibilities that you are going to get married? Is it for sure of? Some of us get in relation for sure of. I'm sure some of the 4th years are waiting elders' night partners for sure of. We will march together so that you can scream and go to hell. Nadia, praise Jesus. Tuko tu, si tuko. Praise Jesus. for you as you begin to suspect. I normally see that people suspecting. You can see by the screaming. Finally, Philippians chapter 4 and verse 8. Finally, Philippians chapter 4 and verse 8. Whatever is true. Whatever is true. Sawa. Whatever is noble, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent and praiseworthy, think about that. As you are tempted to text, turn and read. As you are tempted to do anything, just turn and read it. Just try and put it. When we were in college, we put a lot of stickers next to our bed. A lot of stickers next to our bed. Hello? Do we do that?
Yes.
Next to our bed. Ukigeuka tu hivi, unaisoma. Huh? Think about those things. God will give you peace in your heart. Amen? Amen. Tell somebody you are not late.
You are not late.
Whether you are in a situation or a relationship. Because for those of us who are not in a relationship, we are not late. Amen? Amen. Stress. Amen? Amen. We want to give God. And let me tell you, hakuna spirit mbaya kama spirit ya fornication. No wonder the Bible says in 1 Thessalonians verse 4:3, even for your own sanctification, because it is the will of God. I have been here longer than all of you. Wakati mtu akiraise altar ya sin ya fornication inasambaa hivi. It is very, very what? Inashika watu. What do you call that? It's contagious. Just be careful and watch out. It's very contagious. And you will even discover that people are not noticing. What we notice, very contagious. Do not raise an altar for the devil for fornication. You are answerable to every other person. And you are answerable to God. Do not be the one to raise the altar for immoral behaviors. Be very careful. Tell yourself, be very careful that I may finish this institution without, let it not be me raising that altar amidst the brethren. Because you are accountable. Your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit. Your body or your life has been given the Holy Spirit as God's own mark. When He looks down, He sees His child by the mark of the Holy Spirit. Amen? Amen. Let's pray. Father, I want to thank you so much. I believe that you have spoken to each one of us. Everybody has got their portion. Thank you for this message. It is so timely. Father, as the world is waking up tomorrow to think of moral things as a way of expressing love,